Talking I think I've ever seen in a CrossFit. You guys have a good community vibe, everyone's chatting and stuff, so that was really fun workout, so thanks for letting me jump in on that. A little bit about me, like Jack mentioned, I've been doing CrossFit for 8 years and I've been a coach for the last 6 years. I actually went to high school with Jack. That was when he was a basketballer and hadn't found CrossFit yet.
Oh,
yeah, he's clearly
fun fact, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. You started CrossFit because of
Sean. Sean was, the reason I started CrossFit,
Anyway, then went from high school, uni, studied exercise and sports science, which had a really big sports nutrition component, which was the area that I dove into the most. And then in the last 3 years, I started my nutrition business. So I've been working as a nutritionist. My company is called The Simplified Method. And the whole idea is stripping everything back to the fundamentals, the basics, and not overcomplicating things. Now, the reason my business is called The Simplified Method is the way I trained for the last 5-6 years would be the complicated method. I basically have made every mistake possible. Luckily, I inspired Jack to do CrossFit, but didn't inspire him to follow in my footsteps in terms of the strategies that I use. Because basically I've made every mistake you could possibly make as an athlete. So for a really long time, I was trying to make it as a full-time athlete. I wanted that to be what I did. So I trained a hell of a lot, but I basically went on this roller coaster of going really hard, burning out, I was going to say I need to work on my gymnastics, so I was trying to lose weight, so I'd underfuel, and then 2 weeks later I'd be like, no, screw that, I want to get strong, so I'd eat a bunch of food and I'd overeat, and then I was constantly going on this kind of roller coaster. And then I was burning out. I would jump on. I think I've done Mayhem programming, Proven programming, HWPO. I've done my own programming. I've had a coach. I've been my own coach. So there's quite a lot of variation in what I've done. And as you guys will know, that definitely doesn't work. You have to stick to something. Consistency is the most important factor. It's actually pretty hard to find a bad program. If I just stayed on any of the programs I just mentioned, I would have got results. If I just stayed focused on my gymnastics would have got better. If I stayed focused on my strength would have got better. But because I kind of did a little bit of everything, I tended to fizz out. Eventually, after burning out for like the 5th or 6th time, I decided, you know what, this competitive thing isn't for me. I stepped away from that and just focused on coaching. And I really wanted to figure out why couldn't I not follow through with what I was trying to follow through with, and why wasn't I able to achieve the goals I was after. So that kind of got me to dive down the rabbit hole of behavior change, forming habits, learning how to do the right thing consistently, learning how to adopt behaviors that are sustainable, not that all or nothing mindset where you go 100% or zero. And that's basically what's formed the foundation of my business, the Simplified Method. And that's the basics and the fundamentals that I hope to give you today. And then if you end up jumping on the 8-week challenge, hopefully that's the fundamentals that I can teach you over those 8 weeks. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I was trying to figure out kind of a game plan of how to structure this talk. Nutrition and habits is a very broad topic. I could have taken this in a lot of different directions. But in talking with Jack the other day, he said he wants this 8 weeks to not just set you up for this 8 weeks, but hopefully the next 8 months, and then potentially, if we get it right, the next 8 years. And in order to do that, we need to figure out, have a good understanding of the what, but you need to have an even better understanding of the how to do it on the long term. So I wanted to do like a little brainstorm here. I'm pretty confident that you guys actually know what you need to do. If I ask you what is being healthy and what is having good nutrition, you'll probably be able to give me a heap of answers. Like the first one being like drinking 2 to 3 litres of water is a pretty important thing to do to make sure you're staying hydrated. Can anyone else give me something else that's fairly important for your health?
Exercise.
Exercise, awesome. I was hoping that'd be the first one. Hoping someone was going to say CrossFit. Hopefully you guys are all bought in on the CrossFit. I don't have to sell you on that side of things. Anything else? What's another thing you do to be healthy?
Sleep.
Sleep, yes, exactly. Awesome one. Trying to aim for 8 hours if you can. Another one? Food. Specifics on the food. Yeah, make sure you're getting the right amount of food and then the right types of food. Some of the types of food, make sure you're getting enough fruit and veggies. That's a pretty standard one. Trying to limit ultra-processed foods and make sure your whole diet isn't built up of ultra-processed foods. Making sure you're reducing like alcohol intake and all those sorts of things. So you guys already have a pretty good understanding of the what. Right? I'm not going to explain why not drinking excessive amounts of alcohol isn't the healthiest option. Not why you need to make sure you get veggies. I feel like that's fairly common knowledge at this point. But we need to try and break down the how, and that is the really challenging part of it, because what works for me isn't what will work for Jack, isn't what will work for Sarvik, isn't what's going to work for you guys. It's all going to be kind of different strategies. So I always use the example of making sure you're getting enough water. So for me, I didn't drink enough water for ages, and then I just made sure I have the rule, my drink bottle needs to be with me at all times. The second my drink bottle gets empty, I have to go fill it up. And that rule works really well for me, it works for a lot of my clients. But for some other people, they go, drink bottle's empty, I'll do it in a second, they forget about it, and that doesn't work at all for them. So then other people, I get them to set notifications on their phone. A notification pops up, says make sure you go drink water, right? And then for a lot of people, they go, oh yeah, that's a reminder, and they go drink. Whereas I just swipe that notification, I'll do it in a second, get back to work, and then I completely forget about it. So that strategy doesn't work for me. So a strategy that works for some people is not going to work for everyone. So I also can't, in this talk, give you guys exact specifics on do this exact step, because that exact thing might not work for you. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to work a little bit in theory and keep things a little bit broad. And then over the 8 weeks, my plan is to narrow everything down and make a plan that's specific to you. So in actually talking to you, we can figure out what's going to fit your lifestyle and what's going to actually work for you. So does that all make sense? Everyone's happy with that? Cool. The first fundamental that I wanted to talk about is energy balance. Now, it kind of gets a bad rap in terms of a lot of people think like diet culture. I don't love diet culture. It can be fairly toxic, but this rule of energy balance is broad and it does apply to everyone. So if you want to stay exactly the same weight and body composition as you are right now, you need to make sure the energy that you're consuming is the same as your energy burning. That's going to allow you guys to maintain. And anytime I use the word energy, you can swap it out for calories. It means the exact same thing. If I want to lose weight, we need to consume less than we burn. If we want to gain weight, we need to consume more than we burn. Now this isn't just for weight loss. If you're trying to feel better, say you're someone who's really low energy, I would recommend probably not tipping the scales that dramatic, but like having a very eating slightly more than you're burning. That's going to make you feel energized. You're going to have extra energy to do stuff like CrossFit. If you want to build muscle, you're going to want to make sure you're getting extra energy in, so that your body has enough energy to actually build that muscle. You combine that with getting enough protein and coming into here on a regular basis, and that's going to help you guys build that muscle there. So once you guys have a very clear understanding of what this law of energy balance is, you can kind of strip apart every diet ever. Behind every single well-packaged diet is this rule of energy balance. It's just, that's kind of hard to market, like just eat a little bit less and burn a little bit more. Whereas every other diet packages it in a kind of complicated way. And that's perfectly fine, because these diets work for some people, but they also don't work for others. So next thing I wanted to do was shout out some common diets that you've heard of, and we'll break it down to how it can kind of hit this one.
Keto carbs. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, keto, no carbs. So basically you've got 3 major food groups. You got carbs, you got protein, you got fats. If you cut out a whole food group, which is what you do with keto, you have a lot less options, which means if you've got less options, it's harder to overconsume. You can still put on weight in keto. Plenty of people have done it. People don't get results on keto if they overconsume in terms of the fats and the protein. But if you cut out a whole food group, it's pretty likely that you're going to end up eating a little bit less, which is going to lead to this side of the equation, and then you kind of get weight loss. What's another one?
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah, that's a great one in terms of if you normally eat for 16 hours a day, we shorten your eating window to 8 hours a day. You're less likely to eat. You could go crazy, you just go to KFC for 8 hours and you could definitely blow that out and you'd be in the weight gain section. But by shortening your eating window to 8 hours, we're hoping that you consume less food, which helps you reduce your energy in and then goes down again. Let's go, maybe one more. There's heaps of them out there. Like, I'll throw one out, like a meal replacement, like where you get your meals delivered to you, like getting stumped on a name like Jenny Craig or something like that, and they have quite small portion sizes. All they do is when you make your own meal at home, it's this big. When they send you a meal, it's this big. It's reduce your portion size. Calories in goes down and you end up losing weight. Now you can get your meal delivery service, you can eat your small meals and then you can go have 100 snacks and then you're back into the weight gain side of things. So all of these diets, and we could go on for the list of every one that you've ever seen, has addressed this principle. And you might have noted everything that I kind of just said was all focused on the energy in side. It was all on this side of the equation. None of those diets really address the energy output side, which is just as important. And everything you do in here is targeting that energy output side. It's building your muscle. The more muscle mass you have on the body, the more energy you burn just laying down. So someone who's super muscly, they just lay down, they're going to burn more energy than someone who doesn't have any muscle. So that in itself increases your energy out. Then you're exercising for a good hour in here, you're working really hard, getting your sweat up, that's going to increase your energy output. Does anyone know that kind of person who seems to be kind of shredded or in really good shape year round, but they eat like crap and they never focus on food? Does everyone have someone that kind of just popped into their head there?
Tea.
I did see you smile. I did see you smile almost immediately. Okay, so I wasn't planning on calling anyone out in the room, but the people that are in that bracket typically have really good control over their energy out. It means they tend to.
See, I've got good control, Jack.
Would you say that's fair? You're fairly active?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fairly.
Yeah, okay, so there we go.
Just stop it.
Yeah. So see, the energy outside is how you can kind of skew it in the direction. I was going to tell a story about my friend who he lost 20 kilos doing traditional kind of diet work, and then he's gotten to a weight where he's looking really lean, and then he's gotten into doing triathlon work, and he tried to keep his food the same, but he was just getting super tired. So then now he's training like stupid amount of hours a day, cycling, swimming, running every single day. He's eating double the amount of food that he was eating when he was overweight, and when he was putting on weight, he's eating double the amount. He feels like he has so much freedom, yet he is the leanest and looks the best he's ever looked in his life, and that's because he's addressed this energy outside of things. So both sides of the equation are really important. I think a well-structured plan not only addresses the in, but also addresses the out. So when people, like even like the new weight loss drugs in terms of Ozempic and stuff like those things, it does really target only this side of things, and if you leave the energy output side of things, you just kind of wither away. And that's not the goal of these 8 weeks, to teach you guys how to wither away. I want you guys to be able to hit both sides of the equation. So I've poorly written energy in and energy out up on this board, and I want to create a nice long list of good or even bad ideas of ways you can manipulate your energy in. So it could be to increase it, it could be to decrease it. So, I mean, we can kind of rapid fire these, but chuck out what's a way you can decrease your energy in. Like, for example, eating smaller portion sizes would be one. You can yell them out as I'm running. Don't rush.
Increase your protein intake.
Hell yeah, that's a really good one, because most people would think to reduce your energy in, you wouldn't increase anything, but by eating more protein, you feel a lot more full. I don't know if anyone's ever overeaten on chicken breast. Like, I challenge you guys to overeat chicken breast, but we can all overeat on lollies and chocolate and sugars and stuff like that. So by increasing your protein, you feel more full, and it is actually a great way. I get all my clients, sorry for my bad news running, I get all my clients to try focus on their protein for their diets. What's another one we can do for energy in?
Like drinking water.
Yeah, awesome. Why does drinking water work?
Sometimes your body thinks it's hungry but it's actually dehydrated.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. So drinking water. Also, taking up space in your stomach is really helpful. So there's another one along these lines that, what's a food that you could eat that's going to take up a lot of space in your stomach and doesn't have a heap of calories, or even a food group?
Vegetables.
Yeah, veggies are awesome. Fruit are good, veggies are even better. I actually challenge you guys to see how much watermelon you could eat and then see how much calories is in there. It would be less than like a row of chocolate, whereas you could eat like kilos of watermelon for that amount. And you will be full on 100 calories of watermelon, because that is an insane amount of watermelon. So eating fruit and veg is a great one. Any others? These are all very healthy. You can give me like terrible ones like don't eat.
Macca's.
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 Well, that's probably, that's a good way, yeah. Increase your Macca's. If you want to increase, you want to bulk up, that's actually a great one for, is that how you spell Macca's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about decrease liquid cows?
Yeah, that's a great one. As in,
So
yeah.
like a milkshake is easy to get down, but it has a lot.
Hell yeah, liquid cows. Down. Yep, you definitely can easily overconsume, as Jack just like slurps down this protein shake. No, but you can definitely overconsume liquid calories, and because it's already broken down. So little side tangent, your energy burn side of things, there's 4 levels into what that's made up of. So you've got your basal metabolic rate. So if you just laid down and did nothing all day, 60% of your energy burn would just come from that bracket. Then, depending how much you eat, 10 to 20% can actually come from digesting food. When you drink liquid calories that are already pre-digested, you don't have to break it down as much because it's already broken down for you in liquid form. You actually don't burn as many calories in that. So not only is it easy to overconsume the liquid calories, but you don't get as much digestion from that, which increases the effect of those calories as well. So that's a double whammy in terms of effectiveness if you're trying to reduce it. And if you have a lot of liquid calories, it's going to increase your energy. Any others?
Like purposely restricting yourself from eating.
Yeah, like being really strict. So you could call it like, we'll call it fasting, but there's extremes to all of those. Yeah, you can starving yourself is not a good idea. Other ones we could like put in like, I've heard plenty of these juice cleansers. These are, yeah, I'm not saying these are all great. What's another one? Like you could just do like meal replacement shakes. I'm not going to put it on the board, but meal replacement shakes is another one. Again, I'm not saying it's good. Ways you can reduce your energy intake. Very, very unhealthy one, but it's actually unfortunately quite common, is people making themselves sick after they've eaten. There's lots of people who are doing that with eating disorders. Another way that people try to reduce their energy intake. Now, let's switch it over to the energy output side. What's some healthy ways that we can increase our energy output?
CrossFit.
Yeah.
That was the first one I want to see. You got
Good
all
answer.
gigs. CrossFit.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Specifically CrossFit.
You guys are all meant, you're all meant to shout CrossFit all at once. That was meant to be good. Walking's great. What else we got?
Police work.
Oh, no, it's not. We sit on our asses, do nothing.
Chasing
Well, I'll
the
call it an active job.
Incidental movement.
Yeah.
Oops.
You've
Alright,
seen me
jump.
work, I don't do anything.
Another way to be more active.
Cycling, swimming,
Yeah. So like basically all forms of exercise, and I'm also going to put in organised sport. I'll just call it O sport.
gardening.
Gardening, excellent.
Parenting.
Yeah.
Housework, excellent. Cool. These are all really good ways to increase your energy output. Now, the challenging one of what's an unhealthy way to increase your energy output, it would to be doing any of these things significantly over the level that you're currently ready for. So what I was doing when I was trying to increase my energy out, I would consider it unhealthy. I would get injured, I would go down to no CrossFit because I was sore, and then I'd come back and try to do 3-4 hours a day, and then I'd get burnt out, injured again, and repeat that cycle. So that was actually an unhealthy way of trying to increase my energy out, because I was going from 0 to 100. So there's like step count goals, I think are great, but when you do a step count goal, you only want to increase by 1,000 to 2,000 steps per day on whatever you're currently averaging. Get used to that, go, yeah, that's easy, I've got this covered, and then increase again. So a 10,000 step count goal is great, unless you're already doing 10,000 steps, and it's not going to help you at all in terms of skewing in the direction. There's no actual number you need. But if someone who's doing 5,000 steps goes, I'm going to do 20,000 steps every single day, that would be an unrealistic goal. One, it wouldn't be sustainable. Two, you're going to burn out, you're going to get tired, you're going to get injuries and all those sorts of things. So that would be the unhealthy version of this. So now, how do we use this big list? And I guess if we kept brainstorming, we could come up with heaps of options, and we've kept things kind of broad in the specifics here. But if you were to pick a plan to try and get, say, let's use the goal of weight loss. If your goal is to do weight loss, there's a healthy way and an unhealthy way of adopting your plan. So if you're trying to lose weight, the old me would do something like, I'm going to go for fasting, and I'm going to be extreme. I'm going to eat for only 4 hours a day. I'm going to just grit my teeth through the whole thing. I'm going to have no fruit and veg. I'm going to do a juice cleanse. Right? I'm going to fast, juice cleanse, and the only juice I'm getting is not from fruit and veg. It's from that juice. Right? And then I'm going to do 20,000 steps a day, and I'm going to CrossFit 4 hours. And that's what a lot of people do. I know it sounds ridiculous when I've written it out there, but a lot of people, when they go, all right, time to get my life together, time to get fit and healthy, they pick what is the most extreme thing I can think of on this board, and if 10,000 steps is good, 20,000 steps must be better, and they go 100% at it. What you guys can now do is, because you're trying to be a sustainable method, you can go, you know what, I'm just going to go for the smaller portion sizes, increase my protein intake, and if I want to increase my energy out, I'm going to go for that side of things. If you wanted to increase your weight gain, you could do it through Maccas, right? And you're probably going to put on weight pretty convincingly. Or you just swap the word smaller for larger portion sizes, and you have slightly healthier meals. You have higher portions of protein. You could probably bring back your liquid calories. So if you're trying to bulk up, I would highly recommend bringing in liquid calories. I'd bring in high calorie foods. So what we didn't put in there, but like fruit and veg counts as that really low calorie, high food volume foods. You want to kind of flip the script. So you want high calorie, low food volume foods. So peanut butter and Nutella is probably the best definition of a high calorie, low food volume. So you can have like a tiny spoon of Nutella and then all of a sudden there's 250 calories right there. That's what I'm talking about in terms of when you're trying to build up or bulk up. Also, don't knock the challenge of weight gain. I know there's a lot of people that go, losing weight is really, really hard. I also know a ton of people that putting on weight is really, really hard for them. One, from psychological perspective, and two, there's a lot of people like, sorry, what was your name?
T.
T? Yep. You burn so much energy, I bet you it's probably hard for you to put on weight because you're very active. So the idea you would have to increase your energy in higher than your energy out, because your energy out so high, that means you basically be eating as a full-time job, which is quite challenging. So a lot of people do struggle. So I know some people get, oh, why is it hard for you to gain weight? I'm trying to lose weight, but gaining weight is definitely a challenge for quite a lot of people and building muscle in that process. So that is the fundamental principle I want you guys to take away. So next time you go, I want to lose weight, I want to put on weight, I want to go on this diet, I want to do that, think back, well, what is this diet actually doing? And then what's the simple, healthy version of reducing my energies in and increasing my energy out, or whatever direction your goal wants to be. I also want to highlight that all those diets that I spoke about before, like we had a little bit of a laugh on like stuff like keto and stuff because they are quite extreme, but there's people that these diets work really well for, and then there's a lot of people that these diets don't work well for. So one of my clients, he's got a intolerance to carbohydrates. So when he has ingests carbs, he feels sick, he gets stomach aches, his energy absolutely plummets to the roof, and his actually performance goes down pretty significantly because his body basically rejects it. So when he tells you that keto is the best diet that he's ever done and he feels amazing and everyone needs to do keto because it's literally the best thing ever, he's actually correct for him. And then when I say if I was to cut out carbohydrates, I would be such a grumpy, miserable person, I am also correct. So it's when there's a lot of, if you go in the comments section of any nutritionist page, there's a lot of angry people out there fighting for their diet. It's very much like if someone said CrossFit is bad, we would never say that. But if someone said CrossFit is bad, we would all fight them to prove them wrong. And it's the same in the nutrition thing, but it's just people have different experiences doing different things. So that was just my kind of, everyone needs to calm down a little bit on the diet hate in that kind of world. So that was a long way of me explaining the what part, and I'm confident you guys have got the what. Are you guys feeling good on the what side of things? What you actually have to do. Now, how do you do it long term? It's about building habits that you can do for a long time. So hopefully some of you guys have heard of these strategies, but like I mentioned, I can't just say, okay, if you're trying to increase your protein, do this exact thing, because it's not going to work for you as an individual. But these 4 laws will always make adopting a good habit easier. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make that habit obvious. You want to be able to see it. So I'm going to use through the whole example of adopting a healthy habit of eating more fruit and veg, and how you make the cue obvious to eat more fruit and veg is you can set reminders on your phone. Have you had your fruit and veg today? That will pop up. That's going to remind you, oh shit, I haven't prepped any fruit and veg. Off you go, you make some. Another way you can make it obvious is most people have their fruit and veg. I don't actually know what that drawer does in the fridge, but there's the bottom drawer where you put all your fruit and veg. But it's also the drawer that you can't see. It's tucked away and you never see it. And then the first row is like all the delicious foods that you want to consume. I recommend getting your fruit and veg front and center. Open the fridge. There's veggies. Yes, I'm going to grab those. I'm going to eat those. That's a good reminder for you. And that's how you make it obvious. Second one is making it attractive. Some veggies don't taste all that great. So it's challenging to make it attractive. You actually want to try and make it something that you're looking forward to, that you want to have. And the way you make it attractive is you pair it with something that tastes good, or you get a cookbook that teaches you how to cook veggies, or you season it. My wife likes to put her veggies in a pasta bake, and she thinks it's like the most delicious thing ever, and she's upping her veggie count, which is pretty helpful. I like to put mine in a smoothie. I know we said if you try and lose weight, liquid calories, but these are healthy enough. I add vanilla protein powder to it, and then I'll get in my spinach count in there, and I put cauliflower in mine, and I put avocado in there. The cauliflower, I know you can't taste it. I hate cauliflower as well. You can't, cauliflower doesn't work for me, but you genuinely can't taste it. Frozen cauliflower, vanilla protein powder, avocado frozen, it ends up tasting really, really nice. But that's how I get it. So that's making it more attractive. If you ask me to eat avocado, which I don't like, if you ask me to eat spinach, and if you got me to eat cauliflower, I wouldn't have them, yet I have basically all three every day in my smoothie. And that's by deliberately trying to make it a little bit more attractive. Clearly that one was not attractive.
I hate veggies. I don't eat vegetables.
Well, try some extra seasonings and stuff like that to kind of help you out there. The next one is to make it as easy as possible. So let's use the example of Friday night. You're tired, you've had a long week of work, you've come home late from work, and then you open the fridge, you see your veggies there. You've done the food shop, so it's already there. You don't have to go get it. But you see your veggies there, and you're like, I could chop these up. It's going to take me about 20 minutes, and then I have to cook a really healthy meal. Or I can go on Uber Eats. I can sit down. It's going to be at my door, and I can just eat something delicious. You're going to pick that easy option when you get the chance, when you're tired, when it's end Monday. No way, you got it. Let's make it. Do it. By the time you get to Friday, you're tired. Willpower's gone. You're going to pick the easy option. So let's try and make those veggies the easiest option possible. So either gold standard would be meal prepping on a Sunday. Some people like it, some people hate it. If you can, then you just go home, your meal's already there, chuck it in the microwave, and it's even quicker than Uber Eats, which makes that the easy option. Or at the bare minimum on a Sunday, if you can at least chop up your veggies, so all you have to do is take them out of the container, put them in the pan, fry them up, put them in the oven, however you like to cook your veggies, put it in a pasta bake, whatever you need to do, and then you consume it. So you're making it as easy as possible. And then the last one is making it satisfying. Now the challenge with basically every good habit is the satisfaction comes much later. So the benefit you get from eating veggies comes from feeling better in like the coming days, weeks, months, years. So it's very hard to feel that satisfaction in the moment. I'd say CrossFit is a really good example of delayed satisfaction. I don't know about you guys, but if you just did that session, I didn't have much satisfaction when my quads were burning on that bike. But now I'm feeling pretty good. I've got endorphin release. I'm feeling better now. But in that moment, that wasn't very satisfying. So you've got to find a way to try and make these things satisfying as you go. One way of doing it, and parents do this all the time with their kids in terms of making things satisfying, is the if you eat your veggies, you can have a treat, or you can have dessert, or whatever it is. Now, I know you guys are adults, but you can trick your brains and you can do that stuff for you. You guys have a treat if you stick to the rules that you've set. Another way you can do it, people like habit trackers. For whatever reason, when we tick a box, it feels really good. I'm achieving something, I'm moving in the right direction. So you eat your veggies, you quickly go over, you tick your box, you go, yes, I'm winning, I'm smashing my health goals. And that makes it more satisfying. Now, a lot of the time, when we try to do a habit, we might do one of these things, but I promise you, if you guys combine all four and you brainstorm and you come up with a plan to do all four things, your likelihood of sticking to the habit long term is much, much higher. And then I reckon if you went back and thought about any time you've fallen off on a habit, it's probably because you weren't addressing one of these factors very well. Cool? Does that all make sense? Now, that's all for adopting a habit. If you're trying to break a bad habit, so use the example of like giving up alcohol, for example, you just do the inverse of everything I just spoke about. So instead of making it obvious, you make it invisible. So instead of opening the door of the fridge, beers are right there looking amazing. You don't have them in the fridge, you have them in the garage around the corner. Ideally, you don't have them in the house at all, but if you have to, you hide them around the corner. So then you get home, you open the fridge, and then there's a healthy option right in front of you. So that's the obvious thing, and the unhealthy thing is invisible. The next thing is you've got to kind of make it unattractive. So I'll use this, keep the example of a beer going. So a cold beer on a hot day sitting in your fridge after a long day of work is going to look pretty attractive. When you open that fridge, you go, hell yeah. So make sure it's not in the fridge, and how to make it unattractive is a warm beer is not attractive at all. So again, have them in the garage, at the top of the garage where they've been sitting for months and they're getting warm, and you're like, yeah, no, I don't really want them anyway. So it helps make it unattractive. In terms of alcohol or addictive substances, also going down the rabbit hole of all the negative health effects that you can have. For those, hand up, I definitely drink, and I do like to party on a Saturday and stuff like that. So I'm not preaching giving up drinking, but if you wanted to quit drinking, going down the rabbit hole of all the negative consequences that can happen can make it quite unattractive and put you off having those drinks. Instead of making it easy, make it hard. I've already used this example, but if it's not in the house and you get home and you're tired and you want to drink, but there's nothing to drink, you're going to go, I can't be bothered driving, and you just don't do it. You're making it hard on yourself. And then making it unsatisfying, which is challenging. So like good habits, it's delayed reward. Bad habits, it's immediate reward, delayed punishment. So feel great at the moment and then you get a hangover and you feel like shit. So how do you make it unsatisfying? A good way to do it is to find a community of people all working towards the same thing. If you guys are all trying and working really hard in the workout and then someone else is just cheating reps and quitting and they don't care about it, it would be frustrating. And you like all want to stay in the group. So working together as a group is a great way to make something unattractive or unsatisfying in the moment to perform that behavior. A accountability partner is one that I do highly recommend. I'm working with a couple right now and they are doing this exact example. They're trying to give up drinking and they both hate doing the laundry. Like they're constantly fighting between each other. No, it's your week to do laundry, it's your week, blah, blah, blah. So if any of them drink in the next month, whoever has that drink has to do the laundry for the next month. So they've got 30 days of laundry. So that is how you make something like that one beer. It's no longer just one beer, it's one beer and a month of laundry. And that's making it fairly unsatisfying for people and that can kind of deter it. So if you're trying to quit something, try and apply the opposite of that framework there and that's going to help you do those things long term. So like I said, this talk is fairly theory based. But you can see how you can pick any habit that you want to do and personally apply it to it. You can see any diet that you were thinking of adopting and apply this energy balance principle. You could pick some quality options from the energy inside. You can pick from quality options from the energy outside and make it fit what your goals are. So that's basically the stuff I wanted to kind of hit on. The other point is trying to reduce the perfectionist mindset. And people kind of use the perfectionist mindset saying like, oh, I'm a perfectionist, I'm trying to strive for big things. But really you're just going that, it's that all or nothing mindset disguised again, and going 100% at anything is just unsustainable. So we spoke at the very start, the goal is to do this stuff for 8 months, potentially 8 years. And the only way to do that is to pick an option that's sustainable. So I spoke about it with the step count. If you're currently doing 10,000 steps, maybe aim for 11 or 12,000, don't jump all the way to 20,000. But when it comes to the energy in part, how it looks from a sustainable perspective is this 80-20 rule. And I know it's applied in a bunch of different areas, but in the context that I'm trying to apply this 80-20 rule is 80% of your foods should come from whole foods, could come from fruit and veggies, high fiber, high protein, real good quality food sources. And the remaining 20% should come from whatever you want it to come from. You need to enjoy your life, you need to go to birthdays, enjoy that birthday cake, go out for dinner with friends, do all those things. And I think I've never seen any of my clients do 100%. I haven't seen many people who aren't able to go out for dinner, or if they do it for a month, they go absolutely ballistic after that month is up and they go 100% the other direction. So trying to aim for 80-20, and if the 20% is fully built into your plan, then there's no guilt attached when you're having those things. So a lot of the issues with 100% is then eventually you break and you don't even have anything that bad, you have a small piece of cake. But because you've had a small piece of cake and you've broken the plan, you feel really guilty about it, you feel like you failed and you spiral and kind of give up and go down that way. So really try keeping it in your mind. If you are signing up for the next 8 weeks, the plan that we do make will be including that 20% into the plan, and it's about sustainability. And then keep in your head that, can I do this plan for the next 8 years? Now, not all goals are 8 years long, so we don't need to be in a weight loss phase forever. But can I eat in this way in a sustainable enough manner for a long enough period of time to get my results and then keep living a healthy lifestyle after that? The area where we'll get more specific is if you guys do jump in on the challenge, we're going to do a call with everyone else. It's a habit reset, so we will try apply these things to your specific circumstances. I'm going to do an initial call with everyone, and then if you sign up to the premium plan, I'm going to call you every single week, and we're going to brainstorm what went wrong or what didn't work for you. I promise you the plan I give you on day one will not be the plan you're doing on the final day of the challenge. it will progress and change and will adjust things to your lifestyle and make it fit. And hopefully the goal is by that very last session, you're like, yep, I got this, I can smash this for the next 8 months, and you guys are all flying towards your goals, and then you can start setting new goals, and you have the framework and the system to attach this to your new goal, and then attach it to your next one and your next one, and this just sets off a chain reaction for you guys to smash your results. So that's everything I want to say. Do you guys have any questions? Open up to a Q&A. Anything in terms of health, nutrition, habits, fitness?
I have a question. How important is it to fuel before your training sessions, especially for the 5 really early classes in the morning?
It's not do or die. So it's important to be fueled across your entire 24 hours. Our bodies are pretty good at storing the energy that you're going to need in order to do that session. So some people, famously, Rich Froning loves to train fasted, and he doesn't eat until midday. But I know after he trains, he then consumes 5,000 calories. So he has those stores banked from the night before to come in. The issue is a lot of people who don't eat in the morning also don't eat much throughout the day and don't eat at night. So then all of a sudden they're just underfueled for their training and going underneath. So meal timing, it's important if you're doing what Jack's doing in terms of repeat efforts, because he could, in one good session, burn out a lot of his energy stores, and then he needs to top them back up again. And basically, I'm sure Jack can agree with this, it's almost a full-time job. You have to focus on your eating as much as your training. There's a lot of fuel that has to come in. So if you're burning a lot, you also got to be consuming a lot, but the exact timing isn't ultra important. Yeah. Anything else? Must have covered it all.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing. All right, awesome guys. Good chat.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Post all of that on the website.
Oh yeah. Hopefully I can work with you guys and we can smash some goals.
Thank